Hi, this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle, and today we're going to continue to work on some of these series Why Reels Fail. This is a Penn Jigmaster, very popular, lots of folks have them. This one's seized, and we're going to take it apart and we'll take a look inside. Now, many of you know that I work on reels that are used in the commercial fishing fleet, the charter boat industry, and they use them till they drop or break. Oh boy. This one's probably going to go in my wall of shame. I don't think there's much we can do here. This one is just fully loaded, not maintained, and it was used until it broke. So I've had one that I've set aside that has been my poster child for poor maintenance and lack of lubrication, but I think this one even outdoes that. And here's the one that has been sitting there, so maybe we can even take a vote on it. They're both pretty ugly. Neither one of them work and they're frozen. But this is an example of what happens when you don't do the periodic maintenance. And a lot of folks ask me what the periodic maintenance should be. And my suggestions are you do it at the start of the season and at the end of the season. And the full work should be at the start of the season. However, the end of the season should be one where you just take it apart, you inspect for broken pieces, you lube the frame, you do your general cleanup of the exterior of the reel, and probably spray it down with some WD-40 just to protect it over the idle period. You also back off your drags so that you take the pressure off of them so that they don't compress, dry out, and become dysfunctional. I'm going to take this apart. We'll just see what's inside this thing. I have no doubt whatsoever that this one cannot be put back together again. This one's well beyond that. But I just want to take it apart as an example of what happens when reels are not lubed or oiled. And I can't say the skipper is wrong. I can tell you that they put these things through the paces. These things typically will fish 200 to 230 days a year. Sometimes there's multiple trips each day. They take a lot of abuse. Most of the time these are in a rental fleet, which means that the folks that are using them have not brought their own equipment along, and generally speaking, sometimes they don't even know what they should be doing, which causes some injury to the reels as well. But I guess the captain is taking a position that as long as it's cranking, it's okay. I'm sure he's got his money's worth on this one. Probably rents it for about $5 a trip, and if he does 250 trips, well, you do the math. The reel is only a $50 or $60 reel. But so be it. Okay, I'm pulling the bridge screws out so we can push this through to get a closer look at what's going on here. Just going to poke that through, and yeah, so there's absolutely no oil in this at all. So I would say that to get to this point in the game, this has got to be maybe even from when it was new. It was not touched or serviced or maintained. We can just see it's all just crud. There's probably a lot of salt stuff in there. The gearing here seems to be fine. Even the lever to release this free spool is kind of shot. Very, very difficult to work. And I think all we're going to do with this one is get some spare parts. So what should we be doing? Well, we should probably be doing exactly what I'm doing here, at least at the beginning of the season. Take all the parts off of the reel. Make sure they're cleaned. We're not going to go through cleaning these. These are too far gone. Make sure that when you do your inspection that you can tell if it's a broken part or not. Look at the teeth on the gears. Look on your both the gears would be this one as well as the main gear here. Make sure that there's no resistance in the reel at all, that it turns smoothly. I'm not even having trouble with this darn one. And that's unusual to have trouble with this, but we are, and that's probably because of the buildup of the salt. And since this isn't going anywhere anyway, there we go. Yeah, and we can see the whole back of this thing is pretty much being corroded on. So what I'm doing right now is just taking these off. These will become spare pieces and parts. That's kind of the way I work with the captain on it. If it's beyond being worked, then it's time to just put these parts aside for a reel that might be able to be salvaged. The drag stack is fine, but the pinion is frozen on the shaft. That's not an uncommon problem with these. In the past, I was able to free some of these with heat, but this one is to the point now where even your anti-reverse dog here is pretty much welded on. So what do? We take all of our pieces and parts off. As you can tell, the drags here are in pretty good condition. So it's not even a matter that the reel was overused and abused. We want to do all of this in a disassembly at the beginning of the season. Take them all off, clean all these parts up, inspect for damage. In this case, we have damage, so that would be needed to be replaced if you wanted to go do that. Clean all of the pieces. We've seen in here, this is all got to get cleaned. I would use the WD-40. Maybe we'll just take a shot of that just to show you. And a Q-tip. That'll get away a lot of the stuff that's on here. You can see it's cleaning up pretty well there. Just a little bit of elbow grease and clean that whole side plate up. And then, so in lubing then, we would want to make sure that we have good lube around what was the anti-reverse dog here. Maybe a little bit of blue grease. Take this pinion shaft off. Put some blue grease or some oil behind that. Reassemble that. That's taken off by knocking out the pin here. I can't get that off. It's frozen. Come into your drag assembly. Clean all of this off so that you're down to the core metal. In this case, it's all scarred in there. Use the drag greases to refresh the drags, and then on these, make sure that they are clean with some blue grease on the yoke and on the jack or the collar and the transition piece for your free spool. And then you can reassemble and set it aside. Again, back those drags off if you're storing them for any prolonged period of time, like the winter up here in the Northeast. And then the last part that you're going to do in terms of cleaning, this is a mess as well. You can see some of that corrosion on this side carried over into the side plate. You're going to want to do the same thing. You're going to want to hit it with some WD-40. Perhaps you want to use a gentle degreaser like Purple Power. Either way, get it all cleaned up. Come in on the back side of this. There'll be a back side here that's going to need to be cleaned. Do a little bit of work on the chrome. You can use a chrome polish for that, like this one, metal polish. Get off some of that salt and corrosion. Re-grease the fitting on the back for the spool. It's also a good practice if this is your personal reel. Go ahead and change that line at the end of the season as well. So if you get line's cheap. If you get a season out of the line, consider yourself in good condition. You don't want to lose fish. So changing the line is a small investment to make to keep that reel working well. So I just thought I'd show you why reels fail. This reel could be put back together if we wanted to invest in the bridge assembly. The bridge assembly for a Jigmaster is about $18 plus shipping. That takes you to halfway to the cost of a new Jigmaster. At that point in time, it's probably just worthwhile to consider it, sunk expense or something. Don't go ahead and do that. Utilize the parts for some of the things that may wear out that can be used, such as this free spool release spring, the drag washers, and so on. And learn your lesson and do that maintenance at the beginning of the season, and then do a thorough maintenance for storage at the end of the season. So just wanted to share that with you. This is one of the reasons why reels fail, because people don't take the time to do the servicing. And I would encourage you to go ahead and do that. And you can see the video on how to service a Jigmaster on my channel. So if you like this, please indicate that you like it on YouTube. And if you'd like to see more, please subscribe. This is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle. Thank you for watching.